Introduce yourself.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. What is up, everyone? I am Brad.
And I'm Sean.
I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and tonight I am in my basement again with my toys.
And I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm in my spare room again. And I got my books, my movies, and then little baby Groot right there.
Sean is my brother-in-law, and we love to hang out and talk about movies and music and TV shows. Only problem is now, since he lives in Charlotte and I live in Nashville, we have to do it from a distance. But we are back again with a coffee, I have tea tonight, and a chat about a movie.
All right, anyway. So today's topic is Zombieland Double Tap, or Zombieland 2. So what we're going to do is just, like last week, we're going to give our overall thoughts. For some reason, we've picked 2 weeks in a row where we have like a follow-up movie to something. So we're just going to follow that same format. So we're going to give our overall thoughts on Zombieland 1, what we thought about it. So I'm going to kick this over to Brad.
So my thoughts on Zombieland 1 were, first of all, wow, I can't believe it's been 10 years. I did not get a chance to rewatch it. I watched some recaps on YouTube to just like freshen myself up. But movie is awesome. It was like totally groundbreaking and an original take on that genre at the time, which at the time, 10 years ago, was really just getting started. I love it as a zombie comedy. You know, I guess Shaun of the Dead. I'm not sure what year that came out. I think it's older than that. But
I think so.
Those two kind of are the two main ones to me from as far as breaking that genre back open. Especially love the injection, you know, of establishing the rules. Having the words on the screen was totally different, and how meta they were, and just total. I mean, it's more in the second one, but in the first one, they knew what movie they were in, and I love that about it. I love the gore and the creative kills and stuff like that. I thought the movie was great, and so I decided I was going to give it a quick review, and I'm giving Zombieland 1 8 thumbs.
Wow. Okay, I was not expecting that at all.
All right, but you don't know. We don't know what each other are going to talk about. So that's all for me. What's your take on Zombieland 1?
Okay, so Zombieland 1 came out when I was a sophomore in high school. So if you take a high schooler, a boy in high school, and you show them a movie like Zombieland, it's the perfect movie for them. So I remember just seeing it with my friends for the first time, and it was amazing. The comedy worked. The zombie element was awesome. And I thought that the action was perfect, and the chemistry of the cast was awesome as well. All the different characters, especially, I think my favorite was Woody Harrelson, and I think he kind of lives up to that in this one as well. And then you had the little Bill Murray cameo in there as well. Still tender. But it's just a classic movie now for me. It's one that I can sit down and watch pretty much at any time during the year. Like, I don't watch it very often, but when I do, it's just so fun, and I can have it on in the background while I'm doing something, look up, see a scene that I love, and just laugh. I'd say if I gave it a thumbs up rating, I'd probably give it, I'm going to say, since it was fresh for the time, an 8.5. So I'll go a little bit higher than you. So that's going to give it an 8.25. But that's just that, you know, I mean, I didn't really think about it too much. That's just off the cusp, an 8.5. Straight into topic number 2. And Brad, it is, did we need a sequel to Zombieland?
I made notes. They say, freaking yes. We needed a sequel. This movie came out when I was 26 years old. That's like how old you are or something.
That is how old I am, because it came out 10 years ago.
It came out, and I was like, oh, well, there'll be a sequel like next year. And then the next year came, the next year came, the next year came. So freaking yes, we needed a sequel to this. This is, for me, one of the most, like, Zombieland's not a very favorite movie. It's not the very, very favorite. But as far as movies that I was most anticipating a sequel for, and like, where's my sequel? Where is my sequel? Zombieland is like at the very, very top of that list. Been waiting impatiently for 10 years for this. You know, like I said, as soon as the first one ended, I was like, I need a sequel. I need it right now. And then time just passed, and now I'm an old man. Like, I'm going on my walker going to see Zombieland 2. When's Zombieland 3 gonna come out? I might have like great grandkids, you know. So when I heard that they were finally doing it, I was 10 thumbs and excited about about it coming out. 10 thumbs excited about it coming out.
Yeah.
What about you?
Wow. Well, first of all, I might say that you may have aged 10 years, but it doesn't really look like the actors have aged 10 years, or is that just me? But I
No,
mean,
that's not true.
for me with this question, I love that we have a sequel, but I didn't think that we needed it. Because the first movie was so great as its own. So the thought of having a sequel in there just made it a little scary for me because they could mess it up. So I didn't think that we needed a sequel, but it was always something that I'd be okay with. And I remember they came out with like a weird spin-off TV show about it with the same characters, but different actors. I think that flopped totally. So then that made me less excited for a sequel. But whenever I saw the first trailer, I was like, this looks awesome. So I'm in. And now I definitely am on board. I actually wrote down Zombieland 3 2029. So
Nice.
kind of on board there with you.
When you were talking, I was thinking about, I did say I was excited 10 thumbs for it, but that doesn't mean that when I saw the trailer, I was still excited 10 thumbs for it. I was not excited 10 thumbs. I was like, oh no. I was nervous. I did become nervous and my expectations were lowered, but just the fact that we're getting back in that world that we've been kept out of for so long and those actors, I was very, very, very excited that we had the opportunity to go back there. But I totally disagree. You said the actors haven't aged a day. Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg have not aged a day, but the women looked totally different, man.
What I really meant was like Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg. I think he's just one of those weird, he's not a man or a woman. He's just like a thing that.
Yeah, he's immortal.
Okay. So moving right along, we've got our thumbs up and thumbs down segments. So this is just where we're going to talk about the things that we liked and disliked about the movie. I'll kick this one off and I'll give my thumbs up. This movie absolutely lives up to the original. It's like it didn't skip a beat. It's been 10 years in real life. It's been 10 years in the cinematic world. And our characters are the same. And the opening montage lived up to the original as well. And it's just got all of them doing their thing in front of the White House lawn, killing zombies, taking names. And it was awesome. The new additions to the cast I thought were great. I was a little worried whenever I saw in the trailer I don't know her name right off the top of my head, but the girl with the pink jacket, really obnoxious type, but I thought she worked very well with all of the characters, including Woody Harrelson and Emma Stone. And then also the doppelganger section with the guys that were just like Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson. And then also it gave a nice little, how do I say, word of advice for people: don't melt your guns. So with that, I'm going to pass this over to Brad.
Definitely don't melt your guns. So it was a lot like the original. Like you said, it did not skip a beat. I have that in my notes also. No sequelitis here. The jokes like totally worked over and over and over. There's only like 20 people in my theater, and we were all laughing out loud, So no sequelitis, didn't miss a beat. I think that Tallahassee really is the best part of it. He is so gloriously offensive at a time when everybody's panties are in a permanent wad about anything that's funny at all. And another thumb up goes to the action in the movie. A lot of good action. Some of it, maybe a sideways thumb for some of the nonsense maybe at the end, but it's still fun. It's all good fun, like with the monster truck and all that. And another thing I liked about this movie is the trailer did not give everything away. I kind of thought the movie was going to kind of go one direction, and it went slightly a different direction. And I'm going to give that a thumb up, but also kind of a sideways thumb. And I'll get to that in my very short down thumb segment here. But this movie was a ton of fun.
All right, cool. Brad, why don't you just continue on there and I'll go after you with your thumbs down.
Very few thumbs down in this one. I mean, normally when you watch a sequel, pretty right off the bat, you're like, this isn't as good as the first one. but I think that this one is close. So in a weird way, it like that you can directly compare them to each other, and I think everyone's going to come out saying this one's not as good as the original. You can't beat the original, but it does come close. That's like a sideways thumb for that. One thing that did sort of, if I got to give a down thumb on this movie, I felt like there wasn't a ton. This is kind of two same things at the same time. There was not a ton of plot in this movie. I felt like they expanded the wrong storylines, if that makes sense. Like I wanted them to really stick. I enjoyed the cameos, but I also wanted them to really stick with the characters, and they let Little Rock, out of the movie for so long. I just felt like they expanded the wrong storylines. There were just a lot of side quests and new characters in this, and I just felt like they should have stuck with the original 4 and just kind of pepper in the other ones. That's pretty much all my down thumbs. I had to actually think for my down thumbs.
Yeah, just like you, it was hard to give this movie down thumbs for me because I actually thought it was pretty on par with the first one. To be completely honest, it's what I wanted out of the sequel for sure. I got exactly what I wanted. But the only one that I could really think of was Columbus made a certain choice at the beginning of the movie as kind of like a reactionary response to what Wichita does at the beginning of the film. And I think that's just more of just my style of thing. I like to find like redeemable qualities in movies, and that character choice that he made wasn't something that I really liked, but also it kind of made sense. That's really the only thumbs down that I gave the movie though, because I thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Like I want to be able to root for him more, and him doing that, and Wichita's reaction to his proposal, spoiler alert, it just made it hard to like really cheer for those characters for a little while in the movie. And then the boy Deutsch, I think is her name in real life. I was very nervous that she was going to derail the movie. And it was like a train, like, and I was like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. And then once she started to be integrated into the group, I was like, okay, I like this. And her and Woody Harrelson are bouncing off each other, and her and Emma Stone are bouncing off each other. I think she was, and in the end, definitely a good addition. Probably the best new character or the best addition in the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. Did the most with the characters for me. And they used her just enough. Anything else for the thumbs up, thumbs down section?
I think that's it for me.
So this is it, what everybody's been waiting for. It's our overall thumbs up grade. And just so we have a refresher, this is out of 10 thumbs. Brad and I will give each of our rating, and then we'll average the two scores together for a final thumbs up rating. So Brad, go ahead and kick things off.
Ooh, I get to go first this week.
Yep.
So I am going to give this movie 7.5 thumbs. I have very, very few. I don't really have many dislikes about this movie. I loved almost everything about it. It was. I loved the offensive jokes. I loved the action. I thought the movie was absolutely hilarious. I wish they would have expanded more on the original characters. But overall, I got to go 7.5 thumbs on this movie. Almost as good as the 8 thumb original Zombieland.
All right. Now, this is not scripted, folks. Some people might think it is, but I have it written here on my notes. I gave this one 8 out of 10 thumbs. So it's a whole half step thumb above Brad's again. So that'll bring the total in to 7.75 thumbs. And Brad, where is that on the thumb chart?
Right there.
All right, that's it for us today. But tomorrow, the Rise of Skywalker trailer's coming, and you know what that means. We're going to have our thoughts on the trailer here tomorrow night. And remember, always watch from a distance.